Idaho Matters podcast is brought to you by St. Luke's On-Demand Virtual Care, which allows patients to see a provider from their home using a computer or smartphone with on-demand care for common ailments such as a cough, sore throat, or a sinus issue. More information at stlukesonline.org. We're asking for your help to share stories from all of Idaho's 44 counties, like this one on the Spencer Opal Mines, where we learned about their unique pink opals.
The pink is from an iron and manganese deposit. Like typically what you would see that turns those beautiful pools colors in Yellowstone is what gives our opal those fancy background colors.
You can send your ideas to Idaho Matters at boisestate.edu and then listen for our Idaho 44 project weekdays at noon and 8 on Idaho Matters. From the studios of Boise State Public Radio News, I'm Gemma Gaudette. More Idaho Matters right now. We're traveling all over the state because we know there are interesting people and places and histories in all of Idaho's counties. It's called the Idaho 44 Project. And Kara Hidalgo heard about our project and sent us an email from Fremont County about the Idaho Art Lab. This lab is a giant community space that hosts classes, maker spaces, equipment and art supplies and exhibits, even an artist in residence program, and award-winning Hollywood special effects artists. Kara and Daniel Hidalgo are here now to talk to us more about this. I want to welcome both of you to the program.
Hi.
Hello, Idaho.
So good to hear both of you. And thank you for reaching out, Kara, and telling us about this. So let's start with this. You call the space Visual Art Maker Space. What does that mean?
Well, a visual art makerspace is, the term makerspace has been, becoming more popular and relevant because people need a place to create things. And we focus on the visual arts. And so we're a visual art makerspace. So we have tools and equipment that would otherwise be cost prohibitive for most artists to engage in the arts, like pottery wheels, kilns, painting easels, and art supplies available. And so we are a space for our community to get together and be creative.
That is Daniel Hidalgo, our Director of Education. Myself, Kara, I'm the Executive Director, but we're 22 volunteers keeping this running.
Wow. So Kara, how long has your space been open and available?
We started thinking of the concept in 2010. We did a renovation of a building before we moved in. So we really got started in 2011, but 15 years we've been working out of East Idaho, and huge community support. That's what it took, at least, to get it going.
And Kara, talk to us about, you said, you started thinking about this in 2010. Where did this idea and this vision come from? And Fremont County is not a huge county population-wise. So how do you support, a space like this?
Yeah, I know Dan has talked about this recently I was watching him do a tour. So I'm going to pass this off to Dan because he said it so eloquently. He also has a stronger voice.
Yeah. Well, the concept came because, we live in the Upper Valley here, and we didn't have a lot of access to art or a place for other artists to network with each other. And so as we kind of brainstormed the ideas and met with our artist friends that we did know, the support just kind of grew organically from that. And, very simply stated, we live here in the Upper Valley and we want there to be art here. And so be part of the change that you want to see. And the support started to grow as, just from word of mouth. And I think that is probably the greatest aspect of what we've done here, is because we've created a place for artists to network with each other. And, artists, it's real important for artists to network with their peers. It helps them stay relevant and it helps inspire them. And that it's just a way to nurture our art community.
And Daniel got his degree in art from BSU. I got my degree in marketing from BSU. So it was a great combo to get us started. And then everybody else is bringing their talents to the table. Yeah. It takes a village.
And my understanding is that, as you mentioned, Daniel, you have a ton of equipment and supplies that people can use. And I mean, you mentioned, a kiln. That is something that is not necessarily affordable for an individual to have. So was that part of it too, was making sure there was opportunity and the actual physical tools that people need to create their art?
Yes, that's the critical concept of having the maker spaces, having those tools and equipment. And, whether you're going to school at one of our state universities or here locally, we have the university over in Rexburg, and these our artists are graduating with art degrees, and then a lot of times that next question is, what do I do now? And well, the answer is you become a professional artist and you network with your peers and you get in production. And we tend to be more of like a business incubator because every art medium is a job in the creative industries. And we just need to give we need to give them a little help to create their own business and create and their own style. And with the internet nowadays, you can live anywhere in the world and sell everywhere. And so, we're just a little force of job creation in the creative industries.
I
Yeah,
love
you
this
talked
so
about
much.
the cost of the kilns. An artist being able to use a makerspace to get them started is really important. And then we've had so many artists that, a year down the road, they have their home studio set up and they can do it themselves. But it's having those makerspaces to get an artist started is so important.
So I know that you're a nonprofit operation, and this kind of stemmed from my understanding is that you toured some of these programs, these art labs in Colorado before you started. What was it from those tours that convinced you, you know what, this really does need to be a nonprofit?
Well, the first concept is that Colorado's very nurturing to their arts, and so it was kind of nice to go and see a place that I guess you'd say the best practices, and so we were able to go there and see how it's done, and there's a lot of communities in rural Colorado that are similar to rural Idaho, and so we were able to find out how are we going to do our best practices. And so that was mostly a research and development excursion trying to figure out how best to do it. And what we found was in small communities, there's not a population density to support the arts in the aspects of there's not a lot of customers coming in. And so we had to become a not-for-profit because then we can leverage the community support, through tax deductible donations and other aspects that help build the community where people get to choose where their tax dollars go. That's basically what a not-for-profit is, we're part of the IRS and it allows people to choose to keep their taxes dollars local. That's why they get a tax deductible donation.
So I want to talk next about some actual projects that have come out of your space. Because I was told that the chief of police where you live actually came to your art lab because the city had a graffiti problem. So how do these two things merge?
Yeah, well, it was Chief Smith at the time, and we, like I said, we had this little graffiti problem down in one of our local parks, and the city was, really wanting to make some positive changes. And so they came to us to see if we would help with that. And there's different concepts about about how artwork helps deter graffiti. But then the second part is, a lot of times it's kids with nothing better to do with their time, and so then they get into trouble. But if you give positive outlets, positive creative outlets for children, then they'll be bettering our community and being part of that change. And then they're less likely to vandalize it because it's their peers that have created these wonderful murals. And boy, I think 250 feet. Does that sound right?
250 feet, 28 paintings by teens. Took us 5 years to complete because each kid took about 40 hours of work for them to do their 10-foot mural.
Yeah.
So,
And it's,
so
that's just, it's a wonderful part where the young people can be part of a positive change in their community.
yeah. I only have about less than 2 minutes left with the two of you, and I really do want to get to this very quickly. And that is the fact that you have said your lab has literally not just changed some lives, but it's saved lives. You mentioned teens helping with this project. Can you talk to us quickly about some of these folks who have come to the Art Lab saying, you know what, you truly saved their lives?
Yeah, I get kind of emotional about that. We thought we were just opening up an art center, but we really realized that arts is it's healing, and it does save lives because it's giving your mental health a little
Mhm.
help. We do struggle in Idaho getting services for mental health. And I think that Makerspace is giving people a place to come and feel like they belong, a place that's open and welcome to everybody. We just make sure that we create that environment where everybody's welcome. Our 2 rules are you want to be here and you are respectful. And beyond that, we just are we're kind of a group of misfit toys. So, yeah, it's just very important to be inclusive and open and everybody being welcome here.
Yeah. One of our volunteers said, I found out there was nothing wrong with me when I got with the right people. And I
Oh,
think that it's very, very important is building that community, finding your community, finding people who relate with you. And then you don't have those feelings of isolation or despair. And I
yeah.
think that's such a big part of, well, healthy mental health is finding a place you belong and finding people that are like
Mhm.
you.
Before I let you go, very quickly, how do people find out more about the Idaho Art Lab?
Well, we are on the internet at idahoartlab.org. Dan has a TED Talk right on that homepage you can watch, which talks about our history. There's ways to help us through our donate page. If you're local, help us by volunteering. And we have Facebook and Instagram. Both are Idaho Art Lab. And if we get more podcast equipment, we'd like to get our YouTube channel going a little better.
Well, I
Yeah.
want to thank both of you so much for taking time to talk with us. Thank you for reaching out and telling us about you. This is the whole point of the Idaho 44 project, is to find out about all of the wonderful things going on in our state. So a big thank you to Kara and Daniel Hidalgo. They are the co-founders of the Idaho Art Lab, about this amazing community space in Fremont County. We'll make sure we put pictures of Idaho Art Lab on our website. Just go to our Idaho 44 page at boisestatepublicradio.org. I'm Gemma Gaudette, and this is Idaho Matters.
How does AI even work? Where does creativity come from? What's the secret to living longer? TED Radio Hour explores the biggest questions with some of the world's greatest thinkers. They will surprise, challenge, and even change you. Listen to NPR's TED Radio Hour wherever you get your podcasts.